Ladies and gentlemen, please take to your seats. We will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Omar Hazine. I am the Executive Director at the Jordan Inbound Tour Operators Association and your Master of Ceremony for today's event. Welcome to the Medusa Cross-Border Seminar, what promises to be a very enlightening and educational event, showcasing all the work that has been done so far in the life of the project and for what remains to come down the line. A couple of housekeeping notes before we start. I would appreciate if everyone can keep their mics on mute. Please use the chat box for any questions, comments, or any technical issues that you may have, and our team will be addressing you for those notes as needed. And I would also like to point out that we do have translation in 3 languages, Italian, Spanish, and Arabic, happening in the main room here. All you need to do is to click on the translation button at the bottom of your screen, and you will be able to access the translation of your choice. I would like to introduce our welcome speakers for today. Dr. Berta Perez-Pey, Director of the European Projects and Innovation at the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, who are the leading partners of the project, to be followed by welcome remarks from Mr. Patrick Torrent, the Executive Director of the Catalan Tourism Board. Dr. Perez, over to you.
Thank you very much, Omar. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome you all to the Cross-Border Seminar on Mediterranean Adventure Tourism organized by the Jordan Inbound Tour Operators Association in the framework of the Medusa project. On behalf of the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, organization which I represent as lead partner of Medusa, and also on behalf of the whole Medusa partnership, we are really honored to have you all with us today. 7 partners from 5 countries, Jordan, Lebanon, Tunisia, Italy, and Spain, we have joined forces to launch the Medusa project to develop and promote the Mediterranean sustainable adventure tourism. The Barcelona Chamber of Commerce leads the project, working closely together with 2 partners from Jordan, the Jordan Inbound Tour Operators Association and the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature, 1 partner from Tunisia, WWF North Africa, 1 from Italy, the Puglia region, 1 from Lebanon, the René Mouat Foundation, and another 1 from Spain, which is the Association of the Mediterranean Chambers of Commerce and Industry. The overall objective of Medusa is to develop a competitive form of adventure tourism in the Mediterranean, which is based on environmental and economic sustainability values that will create more business opportunities and new jobs for the local communities. Medusa is funded under the ENI CBC Med program, which is the largest cross-border cooperation initiative implemented by the European Union under the European Neighbourhood Instrument. Medusa follows the Adventure Travel Trade Association definition when we talk about adventure tourism, which describes adventure travel as trips that provide experiences, both mental and physical, to places which are novel or unique to the traveler, emphasize the natural environment, and provide challenges through experiences of culture, activities that promote physical health, as well as excitement or fun. Specifically, the Medusa project has a 3-fold objective. Firstly, we have identified and valorized territorial assets to develop adventure tourism products with 4 different types of analysis reports, which provide an insightful study of the Mediterranean current position within the adventure tourism market, in addition to the opportunities of development for the sector. The main findings and conclusions of those analysis reports will be presented today. Secondly, we promote a multi-stakeholder engagement in a process of capacity building and exchange of experiences, which will formalize roles, responsibilities, and strategic alliances for adventure tourism destination stewardships. Thirdly, we will implement pilot actions rolling out improved and new adventure tourism products via a sub-granting mechanism, and we will develop and promote tourism packages through Mediterranean cross-border marketing alliances. The Mediterranean basin is by far the largest global tourism destination, attracting almost a third of the world's international tourists. But unfortunately, tourism is one of the sectors most affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, impacting economies, livelihoods, public services, and opportunities all around the world. Therefore, the tourism sector requires a new strategic approach to recover from this crisis and stimulate broader and better recovery of national and regional economies. But how can adventure tourism build back better? We are confident that the Medusa project can be of great help to face post-pandemic challenges through the review of marketing and promotion strategies, identifying and targeting markets that can help accelerate recovery, addressing product diversification, as well as recommendations and guidelines in terms of pricing and packaging of products and services. In the agenda for today, we have a high-level panel of experts and speakers that will tackle the main actual and future challenges of adventure tourism in the Mediterranean. We'll look forward to engaging in interesting discussions with all of you. Without further ado, I will now give the floor to Mr. Patrick Torrent, Executive Director of the Catalan Tourist Board from the regional government in Catalonia and also President of Nextour, the European Regions for Competitive and Sustainable Tourism. Thank you, Mr. Torrent, for accepting our invitation to be here with us today.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Berta. Thank you. Many thanks to the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce for counting on the Catalan Tourist Board and Nextour for the opening of this Medusa NECBC Med event. The Catalan Tourist Board is the official institution in charge of the tourism promotion of Catalonia. We are a public-private partnership that aims to position Catalonia as a leading destination in terms of sustainability and competitiveness. For Catalonia, better than more tourism, what we want is better tourism. Medusa aims to create a new competitive and sustainable tourism model in the Mediterranean area based on adventure tourism products. Congratulations to all the partners involved. In the Catalan Tourist Board, adventure tourism is one of the priority products in our sustainable tourism strategy. A perfect exponent of our 4D tourism products, a product that helps us to fight against seasonality, against concentration, enhancing diversity and favoring higher spending. That's sustainability in the broadest sense, environmental, social, and cultural sustainability. Thanks to Medusa project, a research study to help us better understand the mechanism of operation of adventure tourism will be extremely useful to work on the creation of adventure tourism product. From the Catalan Tourist Board, we are leading a project, another NECBC Med, that is a cousin of Medusa, is MedPels, Mediterranean Pels. It's a project that seeks to promote slow tourism product creation initiatives in less frequented territories. We count on 8 partners from Jordan, Egypt, Italy, Palestine, or Greece. The COVID era is generating changes in consumer behavior that will favor the development of adventure tourism. The research developed by the Catalan Tourist Board and the results of an IPK study presented last week in ITV Berlin say that adventure tourism will be the one that will experience a proportionately more intense growth in the coming months. Adventure tourism is usually developed in low concentration tourism destinations, oxygenated and in contact with nature. And these are the characteristics of the destinations that the new post-COVID client will look for. Nextour is the European network of regions for a competitive and sustainable tourism. Is the voice of the first 36 European regional tourism authorities, representing the top leading destinations in Europe that receives the 70% of the international arrivals in the continent. Our main aim is to position tourism in the center of the table of discussion for the strategic debate for the European economy. And the second one is to vindicate the role of the regions in the definition and development of our European tourism policy. Nextur, as a partner of the sustainable tourism community, is in charge of the coordination of the project's capitalization in the Med area. Count on us for it. It will be a pleasure for Nextur to help to guarantee the legacy of the projects focused on a more sustainable tourism model in the Mediterranean. Enjoy then the seminar, and thank you very much, and long life to Medusa. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for your warm introductions and kind words. And without further ado, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, His Excellency Dr. Taleb Rifai, former Secretary General of the UNWTO and Secretary General of the World Tourism Forum Institute, with his remarks on adapting to the post-COVID reality with the future outlook of the Mediterranean region.
Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome Patrick in particular. It's been a long time, Patrick, we haven't seen you. Good to see you again. What I will do today is start a little bit with a general background of the COVID situation and its impact on tourism. And then I would go into adventure tourism. After that, we'll go to some solution, if that's okay. 4 years ago, in an interview with a publication that was issued in Portugal, the interviewers asked me, how would you define this moment in tourism history, especially after Brexit and Trump's election and the basically how would that affect travel and tourism? Of course, 4 years ago, no one expected the COVID crisis and the impact it has on the travel industry in particular. In direct answer to question that was posed, then I believe today that this is a defining moment in the history of mankind altogether. Everything changed. 4 years ago, I remember saying that terrorism, Brexit, and Trump's election will affect the travel and tourism industry negatively, and in different ways and degrees. But tourism as we know it and knew it then would bounce back, and it did within less than a year. They will not bounce back. We will leap forward to a new world, more better and more sustainable world. Therefore, I'm very optimistic, not in going back to what we were, but advancing into sustainable growth. The form of people will continue to travel even more, but they will do it in a more sustainable way. The travel sector has been one of the most affected sectors without doubt in this industry, in this COVID-19. Any country could have done better, but the key to all of this is you cannot do it on your own. That's my point. It's indeed to agree on a minimum procedure, starting with one's surrounding the Mediterranean destination, for example, into the international level. What is needed today is a new multilateral system, a more harmonized, fair, equitable system, because it is not important how successful every country is on its own. You cannot travel from one country to another. This is the nature of travel and tourism, connecting people together. If you cannot travel, you cannot make it well. Therefore, I would encourage every government now to start looking at the surroundings of it, because without that, you cannot really make it on your own. The multilateral system has failed us, the Mediterranean system in particular. The Mediterranean now is attracting 1/3 of the world tourists. Over 300 million people come come to the Mediterranean. That's not a difficult thing. But without coordinating North, South, and East Mediterranean together, we will not be able to make anything. What we need now is a system that binds us together. The EU, for example, is not working well. You can't have a country that is imposing quarantine, another country next to it that is insisting on a vaccination passport, and the third country that is simply asking for 72 hours testing before coming out testing when you arrive to the airport. These systems must be harmonized. It is therefore very, very important that we look at the international, not only the EU, working, even the United States of America. It's not united anymore. Every state is working on its own. And even the UN system altogether. The UN is not, don't hear anything from the UN people anymore. What we need is a body can coordinate all of our works together, bring these governments together. This is what we are hoping for. How do we do that and promote adventure tourism? Let me first say that the definition of adventure tourism, as has been introduced by the Medusa report, is a reasonable one, because it says that it should satisfy 2 out of 3 of the criteria that it set together. To me, adventure tourism is an experience, new experience that overwhelms you. It has nothing to do with age. At 72 years old now, I'm ready to go into adventure tourism without having to climb mountains, by engaging with the community, engaging in an intense experience. That's what adventure is all about. Adventure is about sustainability also, not just environmental sustainability. Sustainability has to be defined in 3 ways. Environmental sustainability is important as it is, but more important is social and economic sustainability. Engaging the local community is very, very important in this regard. And we cannot really keep treating foreigners as if they're coming from Mars. We can't be people as coming to us treated in a very special way. One of the advantages of the COVID-19 is the emphasis that we had on domestic tourism. Domestic tourism and regional tourism is a very important factor here, because when we enjoy our country, when we know it, then others can enjoy it better. You cannot have any destination be enjoyed by a foreigner. It's not enjoyed by its own people. It's a must. I therefore say that adventure tourism is about an intense experience. It's nothing to do with physical activity. That's just part of it. If you're young, if you do it. If not, just engage the local community. That would be good. Now, we'll move from this point to where we find some solution. People have been concentrating too much on vaccination. To take the world 5 years at least, vaccinate 70% of the world population. There will be no revival of your international travel without vaccinating the entire world. That's the nature of travel. Can't have people come to you in an unvaccinated country. We are going to unvaccinated destinations. Unfortunately, the world is not dealing with the issue of vaccination in a good way. It's a political game now. Anybody that has it is playing the game. You don't have it, you don't have it. You're not vaccinated. Therefore, I'm suggesting that we do continue vaccination. Yes, it's good news. Let's not go into the issue passport for travel vaccination, because that will be discriminating many people around the world. What we need is a better testing. Testing has become more easy, more affordable, and it could become more popular. In Korea, they told me that they're basing their openness to travel on 3. One is testing, 2 is tracing, and 3 is treatment. 3 T's. It's much better than just insisting on vaccination and having to wait over long. But what we need to do today is truly to harmonize the work of governments. Each government is being left on its own now. No government is doing its work with anybody else, because the responsibility of each government to protect the citizens of its own population. It's understandable. We do have an obligation to work together as Mediterranean nations in particular. There is so much in common. Jordan, Lebanon, Tunisia, Italy, and Spain. We're very good countries. We can work together. We can combine the North and the South, the Mediterranean, by combining Africa and Europe, and the Middle East from the East side. This is what I wanted to say for now. I thank you all for being such good listeners, and I apologize for being a bit tired today. I took my vaccination yesterday, a second vaccination. So that's why. Otherwise, wish you all the best. Wish Catalonia in particular very best wishes. Patrick, you're welcome. Omar, thank you so much for what Chito was doing. Thank you all very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your keynote and for your valuable comments and for your support for the tourism sector at large. We truly appreciate your time being with us today. Next, let's take a deep dive into the 2 points we have on our agenda. First, we have a presentation on the conceptualization of the global market research and analysis that has been conducted, and this will be presented by our colleague from the Puglia Region Authority, Ms. Maria Luisa Caringella. This will also be followed by a general destination review and an inventory report from each of the partner countries, and will be presented by representatives from the different partners we're working with. I leave you with Maria Luisa Caringella. Over to you.
Well, good morning. Today we share the result of our global research. We have done 3 kinds of researches. 1, country researches, benchmarking studies, and market research. Country research is consisting in destination review. 5 destination review is a photography of each destination, and inventory. Inventory of attractiveness are about the attractiveness of pilot area. So each destination has chosen some pilot areas. But we have done this research last year during pandemic, and we have a question in mind. How can we add value for purpose for recovery? Because it's clear that with pandemic, all is changing. The first answer is about the definition about adventure tourism. For us, for Medusa, adventure tourism definition is based on 3 dimensions integrated each other: product-based dimension, traveler-based dimension, sustainable-based dimension. What was more, now it's mandatory. For this reason, sustainable-based dimension is have the same role of our dimension. Product-based dimension is about physical activity, environmental, cultural. So the focus is about this kind of questions: what, where, what do you do, which relations. Traveler-based dimension is about transformation, impact, challenge, and the focus is which meaning in the life of traveler. Sustainable-based dimension is about the benefit for local communities, because sustainability means to understand the challenges of our communities, and the second, to develop a holistic approach to understand what is good for us. So the focus is which value beyond GDP, revenue, bed night, what is real important. So the research, destination, inventory, market, and benchmarking help us to put into practice these 3 dimensions. How? We have some key words for new business model. First, community. Start with why, connect with community, which means create meaningful connection with community. Travelers seek experiences which aligns with his value, but where community, purpose, openness are at core of DNA of destination. It's not a collaboration. It's what co-creation. It's something to make authentic experience. Second, openness, safety, and sustainability are key words for product development. Openness means to be open to people, to change, to innovate, and to adapt the new normal. Inventory of attractors give us some point to start and to reinvent service and new business. And marketing research gives some information to diversify product proposition for different target groups. Safety in this moment is the key. Sustainability in mind, well, in the term of purchase, people have dedicated more time to making conscious decision. So benchmarking study give us best practice to follow and to apply in our context, in our community. Transparency is the key word for communication. There are several tools about these topics. We have developed a tour operator and information about 64 travel agencies in outbound market specialized in adventure tourism to help small price enterprises to start. Inventory gives us some ideas for product development, for great opportunities for interregional packages. We have mapped 17 land activities, 7 water-based activities, 4 hay-based activities. We have used the same icons to make easy to compare in between the 5 destinations, how these activities are developed. We have common topics with local differences, and soft adventures are growing. They are the way to rethinking tourism well-being. And what is important about thinking and history. Now I have used 3 key words from used by sociologist Franco Cassano in Salford University of Bari. He used these 3 words: autonomy, which means we have a great history; slowness style is not a lazy style. He said is the ability to live at a different speed and live experience at the fullest. I like this word for define our lifestyle: mastery of time. And this is a great richness in this period to use for implement, for develop our products. But we have done a photography of our destination in Adventure Tourism Development Index 2020. All 5 destinations are losing competitiveness, and so we have done SWOT analysis. But it's important how we read this analysis. I like to use what Simon Sinek have written in his last book, Infinite Game. We have 2 mindsets which we can play in the world: finite game or infinite game. Finite game players are known and the rules are fixed. Okay, and so we have my time is finishing. So I have a highlight for most important topics about what we have to work, but we can use the strength and opportunities by Infinite Mind. How? Promote a med cluster, work about adventure interregional packages, and we can do with Medusa Subgrant Action. How? Led by community, networking starting from pilot areas and work together about this topic, and innovation, culture, entrepreneurial ecosystem, environmental sustainability. So what's next? We can start and enjoy with our destination, and stay tuned with the Medusa project.
Io poi ci giù anche se la gente parla male solo cose fregia. No, 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 no. Cammina, cammina della mano all'omeriggio, cercando quel giocato lo c'è io poi ci giù anche se la gente parla male solo cose fregia. No, 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 no. Cigarella mia pizzicarella, cigarella mia pizzicarella, e non camerato donna, ne nalina, non camerato donna, rega balla. Camina, camina di cu.
Well, I choose this video because it's an example about soft adventure activities with well-being approach. Well, Puglia is a region of South Italy. We have 4 million of inhabitants. Two number about the tourist sector in Puglia that have increased in this year. In 2019, the arrivals were 4 million, more than 4 of arrivals in 2018. In the last 5 years, international incoming has grown by 60. So for us, it's a very important sector of our social and economy. Well, how Puglia is working? Two things are very important for Puglia: diversification and product development. Second, to enhance the ecosystem to take care of visitor integrating. So all about all the services for visitors. Well, cultural routes and itineraries have a particular and big role in our policy. They are not only physical infrastructure. we see them as most important immaterial, spiritual, cultural, and relational infrastructure. Our heritage is spread throughout the region. So cultural roots are the sustainable way to collaborate between communities and to create new offers. The most known is Francigena. Francigena cross all Puglia, 900 kilometers from Monte Sant'Angelo to Santa Maria di Leuca. Well, how we manage? We have two strategic plans. Strategic plan of culture and strategic tourism plan. The topics of strategic plan of culture are product, identity, innovation, impresa as enterprise, labor. The strategic tourism plan is Puglia 65 days because we want tourist offer for all days. Governing bodies are Department of Tourism and Economy, Area Puglia Promozione, our DMO destination, Teatro Pubblico Pugliese manage strategic plan of culture, and Apulia Film Connection attracts film production on the territory, and this is our tool for promote our territory. The infrastructure are good. I go faster. And well, we have chosen 5 pilot areas in protected areas and natural reserves. Gargano National Park, Alta Murgia National Park, Terre delle Gravine Natural Regional Park, Torre Quageto Natural Reserve, Otranto Lake and Bosco di Tricase Natural Regional Park. Puglia region is the richest of biodiversity and protected area. This is the 5 pilot areas are spread in all territories. Why we have chosen pilot area in natural reserves? Well, department want to promote business tourist activities in the park to valorize great biodiversity in connection with stewardship. All our parks are working about chart of European sustainable tourism, and CHETS and GSTC, Global Sustainable Tourism Council standards, have a lot in common. So this is a way to promote sustainable ecosystem, and with a game win-win, because big hotels will soon give more visibility to this kind of standard. Well, we have done a map of cultural reserves in each pilot areas, and we have, for example, in this pilot area, there are our UNESCO heritage sites. We have done a map of adventure activities. We have land activities, sea activities, and air sport activities. And we have done a map of these activities in all pilot areas. And and these are the top adventure activity in Puglia region. The most important thing that is our region is growing interest about this kind of tourism, and we want to work with sustainability in mind. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. You probably all heard a little bit about Jordan, and you probably every time think of Jordan, you think of Petra, the crown jewel of Jordan. However, today and through the Medusa project, we would like to present to you a different Jordan, a Jordan that is open for adventures and has a variety that you probably never had known before. So allow me to give you a little introduction about the little country that is located in the Middle East. Its capital is Amman. The official language is Arabic, with English widely spoken. Not a big population. However, tourism plays a really important role in our economy, with about 12.5% in the worst days, at the better days, we had 14-15% of contribution to GDP. Tourism employs about just over 50,000 people in direct jobs and over 150 in indirect jobs, with an average stay of 4.7 nights. And through tourism, through adventure tourism and sustainable programs, we hope to increase this average stay. So in terms of the Medusa project, we are focusing on 6 pilot areas or pilot governorates. These are the 6 governors that are located along the Jordan Valley Rift and include the Jordan River, the Dead Sea, and the Red Sea. In terms of the governance of Jordan, we all work under the National Tourism Strategy, which is the main guide for all the stakeholders working in tourism. So starting with the tourism regulators, which is the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities in the primary around the country. But we also have some local governors that work in Aqaba and Petra to support tourism activities and development. In addition to the national and regional DMOs like the Jordan Tourism Board and the newly developed Sub-Development Corporation, which is trying to work as a DMO and promoting new activities in the Salt City, we also have tourism associations that work with the different tourism sub-stakeholders like the hotels, the tour operators, the tour guides, and so on. And we have 2 primary organizations that are tasked with protecting the nature reserves. We have the Royal Society of the Conservation of Nature, which is one of the Medusa partners, along with JITOA. And we have the Royal Marine Conservation Society, which is tasked with preserving the Aqaba marine environment in the south. In terms of infrastructure and mobility, for those who visited Jordan, Jordan is a pretty modern country with a lot of with easy access to all the locations, especially the prime locations. We have 3 airports that receive international flights, with a lot of the regular flights going into Amman, which is more or less in the northern part of the country. And there are a lot of charter flights that are going down in the south to Aqaba, to the Aqaba airport. However, for the past 3-4 years, we had an increase in low-cost carriers, the LCCs, with Ryanair and EasyJet dominating the scene, which opened a lot of new markets and a lot of new routes for Jordan. And we hope that after this pandemic, everyone will be able to resume their flights. We have one port, which is located in the south and receives over 70 tourism cruise ships yearly. It's a deep water sea and receives big ships like the Queen Elizabeth and others. 4 major highways and 1 railway that is mainly industrial. However, there is a small part of the old Hijaz Railway, which is over 100 years. It's an old Ottoman railway that serves the tourism sector with the 100-year steam engine. And that's an interesting experience to try. We have 11 nature reserves and 1 marine park. There is the Jordan Trail, which is the national hike that was developed from north to south. And in fact, it has been awarded many international awards and has been on the National Geographic's list of the top destinations for 2020 and 2021. We have the recently developed National Jordan Bike Trail as well, which gives a lot of opportunities and takes you into deep, deep places of the country. And there are a lot of tour operators and accommodation facilities that can help you to cater a good experience. In terms of the protected areas, as mentioned, they are all under the provision of the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature, or RSCN. In the pilot territories, we have 6 of these nature reserves that will be benefiting directly from the Medusa project support. These are the Dana Biosphere Reserve, which is the largest in the country. Then we have the Mujib Biosphere Reserve, which is the lowest biosphere on Earth. And then we have the well-known Wadi Rum Desert, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then we have FIFA, Yarmouk, and Aqaba. The good part is that all these offer a lot of interesting mix of tourism and conservation programs for people to enjoy. They all offer accommodation facilities as well. Probably the only one that is not currently offering any tourism experiences is the FIFA Nature Reserve, and we hope that in the future it will as well. So in terms of the natural resources, as I mentioned, you probably all know Jordan as a cultural country with a lot of unique cultural and heritage sites. However, we also have a lot of natural sites. Probably the most well-known are the Dead Sea and the hot springs in the Ma'in area, the Ma'in Zarqa, which is not very far from the Dead Sea as well. And these are hot springs that offer their visitors, and especially Jordanians, love them in winter seasons because they are warm and they are nice and the weather is always greater than in the rest of the country. Jordan has 4 biogeographical areas or regions. It has a lot of vegetation types and species that are very particular to Jordan. Within the nature reserves, you will also find that there are a lot of wetlands that are on the way for migrating birds. So we have a lot of migrating birds in different seasons, especially in early spring and late autumn. And this is a beautiful activity that we really encourage everyone to check. So back to the cultural aspects of Jordan. Apart from Petra, as you will see in all the governorates, there's a lot of interesting activities to see and things to do. And they all are very unique to the specific governorates. So you will never, or sometimes you will find very different activities in the north that you cannot find in the south. So we always recommend that you try those in the location because they would be really different and special. Jordan has 5 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Within the pilot territories, we have 3 of them, which are al-Rasas, which is a biblical area. We have Wadi Rum, which is a mixed nature and heritage site. And we have the baptism site, Bethany, which is a biblical heritage site as well. All of them offer a variety of tours, as I mentioned, including cultural, rural experiences, culinary activities, arts and crafts, hikes, and so on. In terms of the adventure activities in particular, there are really a lot of things that you can do in Jordan. And I guess this map is not as easy to read at this stage, but you can always go back to the reports and see the variety of things that are available in the different territories. And they really take you from a lot of different activities that are land, water, or air-based. And finally, as a project, we decided to pick top 5 adventure activities, which we would like to highlight because either they are the most popular, especially adventure tourism has become more and more popular in the recent years among the local Jordanian youth and families, or also because there are a lot of places that offer these types of activities. So the hiking and trekking is available really throughout the country. Cycling and mountain biking is very popular, as I mentioned, with the trails and the nature reserves. Canyoning and wet canyoning, especially in the Mujib biosphere, it's the photo you see on your right, which is the lowest biosphere on Earth. Then rock climbing and abseiling in Wadi Rum and the northern areas, and bird watching. There is a very particular bird watching station in Aqaba that is really nice, and also in other RCN reserves. So this is really a very short presentation on Jordan. We hope you get to learn more about it through the different materials that the Medusa project has developed, and allow me to leave you now with hopefully a bit of an adrenaline rush video about the different adventure activities in Jordan. Thank you all.
Break my bones, break my soul. You can't hold me down, no. Take my home and take my clothes. The path I chose, from the ashes I rose. No limits and no fear. Ready to rise, I'll take on anything. You know, break free. Ready to rise, I'll take on anything.
Tell me to sweat, I'll pack my bags and leave. Put down all of my weight, cause honey, I'm free. Need nothing on my back, all I need is my feet. The earth on my skin, the sun rays I breathe. I sail on mountains to the heavens and I sand in my toe. When will I be back? Hell, no one knows. Whoa, yes I'm free. Oh, I'm free. The rush of blood in my bones, I'm free. I walk away in my thoughts, roll out, I said, Lord, I'm free.
Take on anything.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Medusa Tourism Seminar, cross-border seminar. I am Essia Gizi from WWF North Africa, and I present Tunisia destination. So Tunisia is a country located in the Maghreb region on the African continent. Our official language is Arabic, and we have 11.5 million inhabitants in Tunisia. Tourism is a very important sector in the economic in Tunisia, and the contribution to GDP is about 7 to 8% during the let's say good tourism year. Tunisia is known as a sun and sea tourism country. However, we tried in Medusa project to choose unknown destination. So we will work on Benarous Governorate, mainly in Jebel Irsas, Mountain of Lead, National Park of Bougarine and Sidi Salem Garsi as a pilot area in Benarous Governorate. We also have chosen to work on Mednin, on the Governorate of Mednin, mainly in Zamour and Bni Khdesh, and in Gabes Governorate, and we have chosen Matmata, Tujen and Berber villages as a pilot area. Those pilot areas are good potential, or have a good potential for adventure tourism, as you see in the photos. So the governance of destination of the tourism sector in Tunisia is mainly based on the public sector, represented by the government, for example, ministries of tourism and handcrafts, also Ministry of Agriculture and Water Resources, and also Ministry of Cultural Affairs. Also, we have the local and regional authorities of tourism, and the tourism organizations, for example, the National Office for Tourism. The business sector is mainly represented by tourism offers, holders and suppliers, National Federation as a private syndicates for tourism governance, and also other, for example, intermediaries and the transport business sector, professional associations like, for example, Association for Campers and other professional associations. Also, the host community and customers, for example, tourist and local community. And also we have the knowledge community, for example, international organizations and donors, research center, like, for example, the Higher Institute for Tourism in Tunisia and the training centers. For the infrastructure and mobility, and when you would like to come to Tunisia, we have around 15 special experiences, 130 hotels, 10 hostels, and 14 rural houses, and 45 travel agencies, mainly for adventure tourism. Tunisia is or pilot area is accessible through land and air and serviced by railway. So mainly we have airports, ports, also land transportation and sea transportation to go to the pilot area. Tunisia also is famous with the natural heritage. Tunisia counts 17 national parks and 27 natural reserves. In the pilot area, we have two national parks. One is located in Benarouz Governorate, the national park of Bouguerin, as you see, and we have also the national park of Sidi Toui in the governorate of Medellin. This picture is showing the Mejen Chitan Natural Reserve as a unique natural reserve in Tunisia. But as I said, we have 27 natural reserves in Tunisia, and we have also 41 Ramsar sites and more than 241 wetlands. As you see the map of natural resources in pilot area, and as I said, we have two national parks in the pilot area, but we have a lot of other natural resources in the pilot area. And for the governorate of Gabes and Medellin, the government is running the process for registering the first geo park in Tunisia in Dahar destination. For the adventure activities you can explore in Tunisia, we count more than 20 adventure activities across the pilot area. So the wild beaches of the northern coast set with their forest mountains as well as the Saharan expanses would attract large numbers of hikers and nature lovers. So actually Tunisian population is exploring the natural resources and the adventure activities in the different pilot area by, for example, hiking, organizing trekking, cycling, and a lot of other adventure activities. With its unique location in the Mediterranean basin and great geographical and climatic diversity, Tunisia offers many amazing spots for amateur bird watchers all over the country. Water birds, beautiful flamingo, and more than 300 bird species. We choose bird watching as a main activity because as a WWF North Africa, we encouraging nature conservation and activities related to discovering and exploring natural resources and ecosystems. Tunisia has a geological platform adapted to the climbing activities, specifically in Jbal Arsas and in Dahar mountain chain. So for the cultural resource in pilot area, Tunisia is very famous with the most impressive in the Mediterranean basin. For example, we have Dugga, Bularegia, Maktar, Spitla, Hydra, and Tuburdu Mahus. So many mythical and unexpected landscape in unique historical. Also in the pilot area, there are a lot of cultural events and festivals allow us to delve deeper into the country's culture. Also, you can explore food tours and cooking experiences. For example, cheese making in Udna and Benarouz. Also, you can discover and explore new experiences in the Berber villages and discover the Tamazight culture. To leave you on a good note, we are delighted to show you this video on Dahar destination, authentic and new experiences. Thank you very much.
So, hello, good morning to everyone. It's now the turn of Catalonia. The same as Lina explained for Jordan, I think it happens in Catalonia. So I guess many of you are or know Barcelona city, but perhaps you are not so familiar with Catalonia. So the first thing we have to say is that Barcelona is the principal capital of Catalonia. Here you can see where we are located. We are in the northeastern Spain, considered an economic powerhouse and a very popular tourist destination with our own linguistic and cultural identity, and even with our own government within Spain. We have 3 official languages, Catalan, Spanish, and Aranese, and we are 7.7 million inhabitants in January 2020. As in other countries and destinations, tourism sector is very, very important for us. It's crucial for the Catalan economy, representing 12% of the Catalan GDP and 14% of the total Catalan labor market. And in 2019, we reached almost 20 million foreign tourist arrivals, generating an expenditure of 21,000 million euros. Very important for us. And we had an average stay of around 5.6 nights, more or less. We have a complete transport infrastructure system. We have 5 commercial airports, 6 cruise ship ports, thousands of kilometers of roads connecting Catalonia with Europe and with European capitals, high-speed trains, and a vast network of soft infrastructures, thousands of signposted kilometers, both for hiking, mountain biking, cycling, even for swimming. It is very difficult to summarize all the resources that Catalonia has to offer. We are a Mediterranean destination with multiple attractions. Here you can see like a very brief explanation, just
600 kilometers of coast, to highlight some of them, 1 national park, 14 natural parks, 2 UNESCO biosphere reserves. And for example, we have 16 ski resorts. I think it's the most differential resource we have compared to other Medusa countries. So we have 16 ski resorts. In terms of gastronomy, 65 stars in the Michelin Guide, or 1 million beds in different types of accommodation. In terms of governance, at regional or at territorial level, this is a very simplified vision of how the tourism is governed in Catalonia, but each region has its own tourism department. So counties, Catalonia is divided in 4 provinces and 42 counties, what we call counties. Those are small regions. So each one of these regions has its own tourism departments. Then we have the Provincial Council Tourist Board with their own budgets, strategies, and promotion and action plans. And then at global level, at Catalan level, we have the Catalan Tourist Board in charge of promoting the Catalonia both in Spain and abroad. And then we have the Directorate General of Tourism, it's the entity responsible for the management of Catalonia as a tourist destination, designing and approving policies for boosting the competitiveness of the sector, or acting as a legal actor in front of regulated tourist companies, for example. So the Catalan Tourist Board and the Directorate General, they base their actions in a strategic plan and in a marketing plan. But as you can see, we have different entities working on tourism, all of them in a coordinated way. As well as my colleagues has explained, in Catalonia we have also chosen some pilot areas. We have chosen 4 out of these 42 that I have told you we have. Why we have chosen these areas? Basically because they are very different one from another. Some of them are coastal, some of them are inland, some of them are more mature than others, and basically because as they are very different, the adventure tourism potential is also very different. So the activities that can be developed in one area or in another are different, and this fact gave us the possibility to play a bit when developing and implementing this Medusa project in these areas. We have Alt Empordà, Alt Penedès, Baix Ebre, and El Berguedà. These are the pilot areas in Catalonia. If we map them, you can see that they are located throughout all Catalonia, not located in a single area. Just for you to have a brief idea, Alt Empordà is the first one. It's located in the north part of Catalonia, just bordering with France. It nestles the Mediterranean Sea and the Pyrenees, so the adventure activities are structured between or divided between the coastline and the mountains. It is a very mature destination. You can see here that there are more than 50,000 beds. So quite a well-structured infrastructure. Then we have Alt Penedès. It's an inland territory, and it's very well known and very well positioned thanks to its wine tourism offer. So the never-ending vineyard landmarks, landscapes are their landmark. You can do any activity related to wine there. Then we have Baix Ebre in the south of Catalonia. Baix Ebre belongs to a wider territory called Terres de l'Ebre that was declared Biosphere Reserve by UNESCO in 2013. Similar to the Alt Empordà, apart from the coastline and a mountain part inland, they have a resource very important, which is the Ebre River. It's a lively and partially navigable river, and it is a very interesting spot for adventure activities, fluvial activities there. So based on these 3 points, the coast, the mountains, inland, and the river, they structured the adventure tourism offer. And finally, we have El Berguedà. It's also an inland area with a very diverse geography. The north part is very mountain landscape with peaks with more than 2,000 meters high. And in the south, it's a very soft area, very flat area. So the adventure activities are divided in the north mountain and in the south more soft ones, right? Having said that, which is the natural, cultural, and adventure tourism profile of these 4 pilot areas. Similar to my colleagues, if we add these 4 areas, we have 6 natural parks. Some of them, the largest protected wetland in Catalonia, for example, or it includes also the 2nd largest wetland area in Catalonia, or one of the biggest natural areas. In Catalonia, we have almost 30 natural nature reserve and protected natural areas, 1 biosphere reserve, as I have explained it before, and dozens of viewpoints that allow the visitor to explore the territory in a different way. In terms of culture, it is very difficult to summarize in 5 minutes and half of a slide which are the cultural resources of Catalonia and included in these pilot areas, but I would say in general terms that we have almost 10 archaeological sites, culinary experiences, a lot of culinary experiences based on this wine tourism offer and also in local products, very important for us. All kinds of festivals and celebrations, historic sites and forts, more than 50 museums and exhibitions, religious sites, and we have also UNESCO heritage in these areas, including small dry stone constructions, the human towers, we call castells, 5 sites included in the rock art of the Mediterranean basin on the Iberia Peninsula group, and 2 popular festivals, which are La Patum and La Fia Falla, declared World Heritage by UNESCO. So we would say that culture is Catalonia's flagship. And then we have the map of the adventure activities. They are very similar to those already explained by my colleagues. So I want to spend much time detailing all the activities. I would highlight perhaps 3 of them. One is winter snow activities that can be practiced here. Then we have skydiving in terms of air activities, especially in Empúria Brava, in Alt Empordà, which is a leading destination worldwide to practice this sport. And in terms of water activities, we have to consider that they can be developed in the coast, obviously, but also in the river, especially in Ebro River, and in lakes inland. So kite surf, scuba diving, snorkeling, they are very important, especially in the coastline, and the offer is really, really, really wide. Which are the top 5 adventure activities? Very difficult it's a tricky exercise to do. I would say that we agree on the first 3. The most popular here are hiking, trekking, walking, so hiking in different levels, cycling and mountain biking. From this 3rd position on, we would have discussions. So we have said that observing flora and fauna, and especially bird watching, is important in Catalonia and in some areas specifically. But observing flora and fauna can be practiced in all of the 4 pilot areas. And then we have included also water activities, basically because we have a very wide offer. So for the volume of these activities, we have included as a top 5 most popular adventure exercises here. And finally, we think that Catalonia has the potential and is working in the right direction to become a leading destination in adventure tourism, that the Medusa project will help us to achieve it. And I hope I have convinced you to come and to visit us here in Catalonia and to enjoy our adventure tourism activities. If not, I hope next video, the video we will show you next, will do it for me. So you will be more than welcome to come. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hey, where are you going? We're heading to Lleida for the weekend. We've got it all planned out. We're going to do lots of activities of all kinds.
Catalonia has so many nature spaces that you'll be spoilt for choice. The vast outdoors, green, mountain and coastal landscapes, snow-capped or drenched in sunshine. Make your choice. Leisure or adventure, nature watching or physical activities. If you're into mountains, then we've got all the pistes in the Pyrenees, a network of long and short hiking routes, greenways for cycle tourism, pony trekking, ravines. If what you're really after is the beach, here you can discover the hidden coves of the Mediterranean, go kayaking or explore the depths of the finest seabed. By land, sea or air, live the outdoors your way in Catalonia.
A great idea. You know how much we all love adventures.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Beirut. I'm very happy to welcome you all on this Medusa cross-border seminar platform and share with you Lebanon's destination review and inventory. My name is Lutetia Baini Bouchabke. I'm the project manager of Medusa in Lebanon at the René Mawad Foundation in Beirut. Lebanon is a very beautiful small country in the Middle East that has no desert at all. It stretches along the eastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea. Its length is almost 3 times its width, 10,452 square kilometers, with moderate Mediterranean climate, active and dynamic population. It's around 6,833 million, that was in 2018, precisely, divided into 4.2 million Lebanese and 2.5 million from other nationalities. It has a very diversified culture. Most people speak 3 languages, Arabic, French, and English. Lebanese economy is based on services, and tourism is part of it with approximately 29% contribution of its GDP. Next. So the selection made for the pilot areas is representative for all Lebanon in terms of destination management and destination profile. It's also where adventure tourism is already taking place in Lebanon right now. So it's divided into 9 pilot areas, as we can see: Minjil, Zakar, Eden, Padisha, Tanourin, Bentail, Jabal Musa, Kfar Dabian, Shuf, and Jizin. Till this date, we have no actual destination management organization in Lebanon, unfortunately. Local actors such as individuals, NGOs, and associations are playing the role of developing and promoting the rural and adventure tourism sector in Lebanon. The main actor, of course, the chief orchestra for developing and setting standards for tourism is the Ministry of Tourism. In the case of Lebanon, the public sector is absent from developing, regulating, or promoting the adventure tourism sector. However, I can name, for example, the Union of Sustainable Ecotourism Institutions, that is newly established association/syndicate in Lebanon, an initiative by 5 eco-tour operators aiming at regulating and standardizing the responsible and adventure sector. Many associations also are working on developing region through hiking trail, equipping climbing routes, guide training. These interventions are supported and financed by international donors usually. Next. So adventure travelers are usually less sensitive to deficiencies in hard tourism infrastructure. What I mean by that is like roads, airport, etc. But perhaps more sensitive when it comes to soft tourism infrastructure like trail maps or information on heritage and culture. You can get to Lebanon by plane through the Beirut International Airport. Lebanon has around 350 accommodation facilities, 39 natural sites, 24 cultural sites, 5 UNESCO cultural sites, 29 adventure tourism activities, and some maps are developed to show how to reach them. Next. In the 10 pilot areas, there are many protected areas and natural reserves. Today, natural reserve is the most well-established, managed, and studied form of protected areas in the country. Lebanon has created 15 natural reserves. To date, only 6 out of the 15 have management plans. Natural reserves occupy around 2.7 of the country area. In the pilot areas, we can find Akkar Mountains, the Kadisha Valley, Eden Natural Reserve, Tanourin Cedars, Bentile Natural Reserve, Fadabin. In this photo, you can see Jabal Musa Biosphere Reserve, which is high in biodiversity. And finally, the Shuf Biosphere Reserve from the 10 pilot areas. Next. Known for its richness in biodiversity and climate, Lebanon is the richest country in the Middle East in nature reserves. These reserves became destination for a multitude of outdoor activities. They went beyond nature preservations and are playing the role of agent of development. The country has an extensive list in caves and sinkhole. I can name Jaitak Batu that everybody knows, which is the deepest cave in Lebanon and also the Middle East. Fresh water all over Lebanon with many springs. There are many surface water and groundwater sources, but unfortunately very badly managed. Since the beginning of the 20th century, animal wildlife in Lebanon has been relatively eradicated, but there are more than 4,000 plant species and more than 4,000 animal species around, according to research. Highlands are quite abundant. 3,088 meters is the highest peak. Next. Lebanon history has been shaped by its strategic location at the crossroads between the East and the West, and as the gateway to the Middle East. Lebanon has more than 250 Roman temples that are geo-localized. The most visited one is Baalbek, located in the Bekaa Valley. There are 5 UNESCO cultural sites: Anjar, Baalbek, Byblos, Wadi Kadisha, which is the Holy Valley, the Forest of the Cedars of God, Tyre. Next. We can name a lot of adventure activities, and which is my best part in Lebanon. I'll let you read them: hiking, trekking, rock climbing, caving, rappelling, canoeing, etc. But next, I will name the top 5 adventure activities, which are hiking, considered the most spread and famous outdoor sport in Lebanon. It's practiced by a wide range of tour organizers. Many villages in Lebanon have developed their network of trails. Trekking, the Lebanon Mountain Trail Association created the first national and longest trail that extends from the north of Lebanon to the south, a 470-kilometer path that transects more than 76 towns and villages at an altitude ranging from 570 meters to 2,073 meters. Camping today, yes, becoming popular. One can camp in any land owned by the government or can choose to visit one of the campsites with facilities. And alpine skiing. Yes, Lebanon has mountains of snow during winter. It is very widely practiced across Lebanon, mainly in mountains like Akkar, Dali, Fadabin, Tanourin, Faraya, etc. Rock climbing, Lebanon is known for its geological formation with a limestone dominance of 70%. Lebanon holds the biggest rock climbing outdoor site in the Middle East. That's not all for Lebanon, but I'm waiting for you all to come and discover it. On the equation, I would like to thank 33 North for the amazing study they did, and all the consortium of Medusa for all the collaboration. Leaving you with a small video on what you don't know about Lebanon, and of course, I would like to thank you all from all my heart.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the destination reviews from our partner countries with truly insightful information about the different destinations. So next we come to the interactive part of the seminar, into our breakout rooms. And I will go through a quick introduction about each of the breakout rooms with the facilitators who are going to be managing this discussion. One thing before I move on is to please keep an eye out on the chat. We have the link that will take you to all these presentations. We know many of you have been asking for them, so just watch the chat, follow the link, and you'll be able to access all those presentations. So for just to also tell you that you will be automatically taken into the breakout rooms that you chose upon registration, and after 40 minutes, you will be diverted back into the main room to continue with the agenda that we have for you. So for room number 1, the theme is product development and innovation in shaping authentic experiences in adventure travel, and this is going to be facilitated by Dr. Milena Nikolova. She will be supported by Medusa coordinator Diana Novillo from the ASCAME as our partners. Room number 2 is all about sustainability marketing and credibility, and our facilitator is Dr. David Ehrman, who's an international tourism consultant. He's being supported by Ms. Inma Belban Malol, who will also be working with him to facilitate the room. Room number 3 is all about strategic alliance concept and its potential role in enhancing the competitiveness of the Mediterranean in adventure tourism. Our facilitator is Barbara Fritz and is supported by Ashraf Barqawi from the RSCN. Room number 4 is all about building traveler needs into business planning and growth in adventure tourism. This is being facilitated by Dr. Manal Kileg, the Executive Director for the MENA region at the ATTA, also being supported by Rawan Atallah with the Jaitawa team. And last but not least is the breakout room 5, the role of adventure tourism and economic sustainability of parks, nature reserves, and conservation areas. This is being facilitated by Uthman Al-Tawalbe, manager of the Ajloon Nature Reserve, and supported by Leonie Hen, also part of the Medusa team. Enjoy the discussions, let them be vibrant, let them be educational, and I'll see you back in 40 minutes.